Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I've always wanted to go to Mexico.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Hellraiser Revelations, which is the 9th Hellraiser movie. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows Nico and Stephan, a pair of rich kid best friends, who decide that they're going to go to Mexico to fuck prostitutes and drink shitloads. While there, they come across the Lament configuration box, and Nico is apparently taken by the Cenobites. We then cut to Nico and Stephan's families, who are at their houses having a family dinner to celebrate or have an anniversary of their son's disappearances, where the daughter happens to come across the box in her brother's belongings and her brother returns. We then follow for the rest of the movie the clashes between the family and the approaching appearance of Pinhead and his Cenobites.
Well, it's kind of a shock that this film would ever appear, because, as we know, Doug Bradley has not reprised the role as Pinhead, this iconic character, for 8 movies up to this point. I mean, we've had the recasting of Michael Myers, but nobody really cared because he wore a mask. You couldn't tell who it was. It was the shape.
Yeah.
We've recast Jason Voorhees over and over again, and yes, a lot of people will argue which one is their favourite, Kane Hodder or other guy. But people kicked up a big stink when Robert Englund was recast in the latest remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
And it suffered for it because he is an enigmatic, charismatic villain that's kind of the star of the show. Replacing the star of the show is a bad idea. And now, Doug Bradley, not returning, should immediately tell the studio to stop. However, Gary Tunnicliffe, who is, he's kind of a fantastic makeup artist.
Right, okay.
Who had worked with Doug Bradley on a lot of the Hellraiser movies, applying the makeup to him. And as we know, the makeup process is quite a long period.
Yeah.
But Gary Tunnicliffe also worked on such films as Feast,
Right.
Blade, Waxwork 2...
That film keeps coming up.
It does keep coming up. So, I mean, this guy has worked on a whole host of horror movies that you may not have been aware of, that he had his hand in the special effects. And, of course, working on a lot of the Hellraiser films, he was also the bound Cenobite in Hellraiser Hellworld. Yeah, okay. Just as a kind of a thank you, I suppose, for all the work he's done on the other Hellraisers, doing the Pinhead costume. And so, throughout all this time he's been exposed to the Hellraiser, he figured, I can write a Hellraiser script, because for the last 4 films, Dimension, they don't care what the script is. So finally, an original script was conceived and written for this film.
Yeah.
But only because Dimension just they looked at their calendar and went, oh shit, if we don't make another Hellraiser movie in the next 10 minutes, the rights are going to go back to Clive Barker, and we fucking can't have that happen. So, shit, we've got to put a schedule together, and we need to shoot this movie in 3 weeks.
Whoa.
This is the result.
Who the fuck are you? What do you want?
Duck box.
What? Take it. It's yours. Just get the fuck out of here.
No.
Nico!
You opened it, summoned us, and we came.
Came for what? Who the fuck are you?
We start off with a found footage movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, you just know the suffering is about to commence.
Nico and Stephan, we've got the handheld camera. We're going to Mexico, Gary. We're going to go to Mexico and we're just going to get wasted. We're just going to get laid. We're just going to, go to a foreign land and try to, hear the lamentations of the women, I suppose, then drive the enemies ahead of us. Nah, these boys are all right. And then we just... The scenes just keep jumping. Oh, our car's been stolen. Well, really? You're in fucking Mexico. What did you expect? You were driving something flashy. And then all of a sudden you've got one of them sat on the floor playing with the box. And I'm like, well, I knew this was Hellraiser, so this was coming up at some point. But it looks like he got his tips from Uncle Frank on how to open it. You need the candles. You need to be bare-chested. And you need to be kneeling on the floor. But it's all right. Because as I've been asking for the last 4 movies, they changed the design finally on the box. The box still looks exactly the same, but now it looks like it's powered by the Power Stone from the fucking Infinity Gauntlet. You know, this big blue light, and the box just opens up, closes, Pinhead turns up, and already looks kind of strange.
They kind of shy away from revealing his face to begin with, because we get the shaky found footage camera of his silhouette sort of moving around, and you can just get glimpses of, oh, fuck.
Birth is pain. Each nail, each new square of flesh wrenches you further from the flashed existence you knew before.
And I think it's amazing as well that they got a guy in to look like Pinhead, but his voice didn't work. So they had to go out and hire a voice actor to cover the voice of Pinhead.
But that's not how it works. Doug Bradley does the voice, and then you alter the voice to make it sound otherworldly.
Yeah.
But they just went, no, we just need an otherworldly voice actor.
Yeah.
So you'll do.
Guy who voiced Samuel L. Jackson in the Team America movie and Baird in Gears of War. That totally makes sense.
I'm not going to knock the guy's voice acting work, but, you know, the delivery doesn't work as Pinhead. It still just comes across as really flat.
No. You have a darkness that rivals my own, Nico. It will be a very special pleasure to rip you apart.
But it just comes across as monotone and...
At the same time, we have just sat through 8 movies of hearing one guy's voice, you hear something else, you know,
It's just, exactly, it's so jarring.
Weird. It's so weird.
Why bother to do it in the first place?
But it's okay, because it's not really a found footage movie, because now we cut to the family, you know, and we've got, I think it was you who told me, it was the Cravens and the Bradleys. So you've got Stephen Craven, I believe, and Nico Bradley, okay? And you've got these two families who... We're not told how long the boys have been missing for. I assume it's a couple of months.
I'm guessing a few weeks.
But they're missing. We get told that the boys are missing. The dad has hired a private investigator and has also given information to the police. They have the travel bag. The travel bag that Stephen was carrying. They've managed to find it. God knows where. But they found his bag. But the police don't bother taking the bag. The bag contains not only the lament configuration box, that by now I'm sure if you ever find it, you're pretty sure that that person is usually dead and Cenobites are nearby, depending on which reality you're in. But even better than that, you have the videotape. You have the video camera detailing the boys' trip to Mexico, leading up to what I can only assume is Nico's death at the hand of Pinhead. And I'm assuming that's where the video ends, because obviously we'll get to what happens in the rest of the film. But the police didn't take that camera.
Which also documented where they went to, the prostitutes that they engaged with.
Yeah, just general information of where these boys would have gone. But no, don't worry. You know, we're American families. We don't like people rooting through our dirty laundry. The dirty laundry will come up later. So the two families are having dinner and are not discussing what happened to the boys, because we're told by the daughter, who, is pretty upset because her brother's missing, and it turns out that Nico was her boyfriend. So her boyfriend and her brother is missing, but the parents just don't want to talk about it. They're just carrying on like everything is normal.
Why don't we ever talk about them?
Emma, please.
Please what, Dad? What, please forget that I had a brother? Please forget that my boyfriend disappeared with him? You know, I want to talk about it, and I want to talk about it now.
You know, like you said, it was filmed within 3 weeks. So, yeah, it's literally, we get all these people in. I didn't recognise any of them from anything major. They all just looked really bland, you know? But they were trying to be these two separate families. And I'm like, you're all fucking. I'm pretty sure you're all fucking. Because as the film would go on, the daughter is flirting with her boyfriend's dad and then getting off with
her own brother.
We'll get to that. You know, the dad, Stephen's dad, it turns out is fucking Nico's mother. You know?
And what does this bring to the plot? Nothing.
Nothing, because...
It's just there.
Yeah.
Just like other things from the Hellraiser franchise. They just decided, we need to shoehorn it into this film because that's Hellraiser.
Yeah. And Nico has so many characteristics like Frank from the first one. You know, he's womanizing, he's wanting to seek extra pleasures, he just loves fucking. But we've got to make sure we've got the blue lights coming down the slits on the wall, because that's Hellraiser. You know, we need the wooden pillow with the spikes on. That's Hellraiser. We need them to be kneeling around candles. No, you don't. Okay, we've just gone through 8 movies to this point. It's about the characters' interaction around the box.
Emma does say at one point that she feels strangely aroused, and the desire within her to open the box is overwhelming her when she has it in her presence.
Yeah.
Which is the way that the box is supposed to call to certain people.
Yeah.
And so
she uses the box at one point, sneaks it out the house.
Well, she sort of half opens it.
Yeah.
And which spawns her brother just outside the house.
Yeah, he just turns up. And you're like, oh, well, that's new.
And we also get shots of other Pinhead just sort of lurking around.
Yeah, there's 2 Pinheads. There's Pinhead, and then there's Pinhead Jr. So now we've got Stephan come back, and his performance now reminds me a lot of the guy from Event Horizon. He's the one who gets sucked into the black hole and comes out and he's all shivering because of what he's seen. You know, this is basically what we get from Stephan. He doesn't want to go back to where he's come from. He sees so crazy stuff. It's just all too much. And I'm like, okay, nobody escapes from there. Unless you come back the only way I know. Which is, blood must have fallen onto the location of where you died.
And so long as some of your remains were still there.
Yeah. And you've come back through that portal, rebuilt, sucked the life force out of anybody and everybody that you've come across.
And we saw this illustrated where Frank was reborn underneath the floorboards where he was killed. And Julia, in the same movie, also got stabbed, crawled onto the mattress and died.
Yeah.
And then was subsequently resurrected through that mattress in the second film. So, the screenwriter went, I guess the mattress is the portal from hell. So,
yeah,
wherever you die, doesn't matter where you die anymore, doesn't matter if any of your remains were there anymore, as long as there's a mattress, you're fine.
Stephan! Her blood brought me back! Bring me more!
So through flashbacks and partial lost camera footage, which really grates me, it's one of the things that fucking really pisses me off about found footage films, is you're either making a found footage film or you're not. You can't partially do both, because personally to me it's disjointed, it's disorientated. I don't know who's holding what camera where and when and what people are doing, you know, because it's like when you have an actual film camera filming the person who's got the video camera, you know, who the fuck's what? It's Stephan holding the camera, and I'm like, where am I? Oh, I'm back at the house now, am I? I'm back at the house. Wait, no, we've got to go back to Mexico. What's going on? Okay. Nico has been obliterated and has managed to convince Stephan to bring him prostitutes. Stephan starts killing prostitutes on the bed, and Nico climbs back through the mattress. What? No. Because now it brings up the question for me that as they keep bringing these prostitutes back, or actually they don't have to bring the prostitutes back to that room anymore. They can just go to the prostitute's room. You know, Stephan picks up another prostitute, goes back to her place, attempts to kill her and realizes that she has a baby. Nico, who has stood outside all bandaged up, comes along and says, why won't you kill her? Stephen's like, I can't. She's got a baby. And Nico's like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it.
As if we didn't need to hate this character already.
Yeah, that's just pushing it too far over the head. And still, along with this, we're getting flashes of prototype Pinhead, you know, who's talking to Junior Pinhead and nailing stuff to his head. And he's like, oh, the time will be coming soon. The doorway will be open. So that tells me that all of this is already prearranged. It's already predetermined. The box is there, and they are just waiting for it to be opened by somebody who has the desire for it.
Well, we've already seen Pinhead lurking around, listening in on the family, just like,
Yeah,
they haven't opened it yet.
He appears to be in the house, much like in the first movie. The room. There's a room there, or he's in a
He's
separate,
on the other side.
On the other side, yeah. Given the special effects for the Cenobites do look a little bit better than the last 4 movies.
Yeah, I do like female chatterer.
Yeah, yeah. But the original still appears superior.
Absolutely.
And
it's the way that these Cenobites move. They don't seem otherworldly. Whereas the way that the original Cenobites moved on screen was just intimidating.
Yeah.
The way that these Cenobites move just feels clunky and awkward, and that doesn't carry the same menace to it.
Yeah, in the first and second one, it was like the Cenobites kind of just, like you said, stepped through that door and came into our world. This one, it felt like they just stepped in off camera.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, hey, go Cenobite. Okay, I'm on. And I still can't shake the guy's face. You know, I keep looking at this new Pinhead and I'm like, maybe it's me. I've just gone through 8 movies of seeing one guy's face continuously and then I see a new guy's face and it doesn't sit.
But of course it doesn't sit. This Pinhead is like all shades of grey. Whereas Pinhead was like a pure white, sort of bluish tintish look to him. Pinhead does not have pearly white fucking teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, that was...
So
that was bad.
The whole image of it is wrong. It just does not capture the essence of the visuals of Doug Bradley's Pinhead. And it's a shock, considering the person who wrote this, who did the makeup effects for Pinhead this whole time, churns this out.
I feel like I'm betraying Doug.
Well, here's the thing. You're not betraying Doug. Unfortunately, in the reimagining of the film, the character of Pinhead, the character that Doug played, they've decided to go a different route with it. Yeah, I think they're looking to change everything.
Like we said, Stephan has turned up and has, been taken care of by his family. But the family decide that obviously they need to get him to a hospital because he's been missing for 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, God knows how long. And they realise all their phones are dead. Wow, that's unexpected in a horror movie. And they realise all their cars are missing. Like what? Like, the Vagrant stole the cars? Stephan moved the cars? Pinhead and his Cenobites moved the cars? The cars are still there, but they're invisible?
What the hell is happening here, man?
I don't know. But whoever Stephen's afraid of is now taking out the phone and the cars. He's probably out there right now.
And they're shut off now. The men of the house decide that they're going to lock the doors and they're going to get a gun, and they're going to defend themselves throughout the night until morning because everybody knows the sun will scare away whatever's in a horror movie. The dads decide to leave to maybe walk the distance to a nearby phone or something, and they come across the Vagrant. The Vagrant kind of stands there just looking menacing and mentions about how the person who escaped will be caught up by the Cenobites when they return. It's inevitable, and that's what makes me think, well, this is all predetermined. The Vagrant knows that the person who escaped is going to get caught, but one of the dads, I think it's Nico's father, decides that, oh, fuck this, I'm too drunk to obviously, bother about any of this shit. So he shoots the Vagrant.
Where's my son?
They will have him again. It is an inevitability.
Yeah?
And then the Vagrant gets back up again, which we kind of figured was going to happen because, he's connected to the box. He's not going to just die by a shotgun blast. But he kills the dad. and slices his face off. Or it looks like he slices the top of his face off, but the camera cuts back, and then when they finally manage to get him into the house, he's been cut up all over the face. So he suffers some really severe trauma and then just dies. So he's dead. Stephan picks up the shotgun, comes into the house, shoots his dad, and then surprises us all by saying, "Oh, I'm Nico. Stephan brought me back through hell. I killed all those prostitutes, sucked the life force out of them, and then I needed a male skin. So I killed your son and took his skin." Wait, I'd never thought about this. It took me 9 movies to get to this, but how do you fit into this person's skin? You know? Nico is obviously shorter than Stephan. So he just kind of gets some of Stephan's guts and puts him in the bottom and stands on them like platforms.
In Hellraiser 1, Frank ends up wearing Larry's skin, but we can see that it doesn't quite fit right with blood and everything around the hairline.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering whether that eventually would heal because of the demonic, the otherworldly healing from the Hell world, eventually restoring them, because obviously they are healing anyway, so they are demonically gifted.
Yeah, but then that, you know, if you look at Julia in Hellraiser 2, she's wearing her skin, but her skin loosely comes off because it's not fully
not all it's not fully attached. But I also think that Leviathan sort of gave her the skin back to send her out.
Yeah, but
and does loosely.
It gets me thinking that what if you're a dwarf, you know, a person of short stature, and you open the box and get sucked to hell, and your friend who's 6 foot tall helps you come out. If you skinned your 6 foot tall friend and put it on, would you take on their shape, or would you still be a short person?
I don't know, because in Hellraiser Bloodline, they skin the peasant girl and they flail her skin up. Yeah. And when they bring Angelique through, she fills up that skin.
Yeah, but Angelique was a demon.
Yes, but she must have. But then again, so were all the Cenobites that were in here. They were all human at some point. So
magic.
I'm going to say it's magic. So I'm guessing if a shorter person, a dwarf person, did do it, I'm pretty sure that they would maybe grow into that skin. They would fill out.
Fill out a bit of skin. Anyway,
tangent.
Digress. You know, Nico is in actual Stephan's skin, and his plan was to get his ex-girlfriend, or his sister, his ex-girlfriend, to open the box so that he could offer up her soul to Pinhead and the Cenobites in exchange for his own, so he can stay on Earth. And he reveals that the dad, Stephan's dad, has been fucking Nico's mum. So Stephan's mum is really kind of upset, and Nico's mum is really, I'm really confused by her shock value in this scene, because she looked like she didn't understand what was going on completely. Like, Mum, you've been fucking their dad. And she had this look on her face like, no. Because now it gets really farcical. Now it just gets completely stupid, because Nico explains we need to open the box, and Emma is the only one who can open the box for the Cenobites. So they actually take the time to line candles up around her while she's not topless. Why wasn't she topless? All the men are topless in these films.
Why the candles? But they're not even great candles. They're like piddly little tea lights.
Yeah, who lit the candles? Did you point the gun at the mums and go, "Mums, we need symmetrical candles all the way around, or I'm going to shoot you in the face"? You know, well, shoot me in the face. I'm going to die anyway. You know, the dad isn't. The dad took a shotgun blast to his stomach, and he literally lives for like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
No, please take me.
No. What few moments you have remaining will be spent in the agony that the indulgence of your own foolish vanity.
I was watching it and I was like, is he dead yet? No. Has there any colour drained from his face at all?
He's getting poked in the stomach and stabbed with the shotgun with it. No, he's a little bit of pain. He's even able to fight back a little bit at some points. And I'm like, dude, you are fucking hardcore. But Emma solves the box. We get the blue lights. They get transported to the house from Hellraiser 1's attic. because, well, you know, that's what the Cenobites dimension looks like, is an abandoned attic. They go there, the Cenobites turn up, Pinhead, Junior Pinhead, female Chatterer, and the Cenobites go, you came back to us. No, he's giving up Emma's soul for her. No, she doesn't desire to come with us. And the mum, Nico's mum, goes to say something. She gets her throat ripped out.
He made her open the box.
But Stephen's mum gets a warning. You sit there and be quiet, or you're dead. You get killed. Because, well, we need gore at this point. They take Nico. Oh, God, I fucking pissed myself. Out of all the stuff in Hellraiser for the last 9 movies, this made me fucking laugh my ass off. Because Nico is completely chained up. Pinhead has him at his, on a fucking whim.
Ready to torture him for eternity.
Yes, you escaped me. I'm going to tear your fucking soul apart. And I'm like, okay, here we go. The big explosion. This film's been pretty bad and dragging up to this point. I'm just waiting for the big gore bit. And Stephen's dad, who's still dying on the floor, manages to pick up the shotgun and shoot Nico in the gut.
This trinket of sensation you feel now will be a delight compared to the onslaught of agony that awaits at our hands.
No one gets to call you but me, you little fuck. Thank you.
So he's in the hell dimension.
He took the same blast as the father did. And yeah, he dies straight away.
Oh, don't forget, he'd already been stabbed by Emma, so technically he was already dying. Wait, no, isn't he immortal because he's come back from hell and he's sucking on life force and he's just inside the skin? It doesn't matter because stab wound, shotgun blast, he dies in the hell dimension, so goes to heaven, I believe. And Pinhead turns around all pissed off like, we were going to torture him for eternity. You've just ruined that, so I'm going to take your wife.
Not Sarah! Not my wife! No!
The mum who's been cheated on. The mum who's lost her son and just realised that her son is the junior fucking Cenobite. She is now going to hell. What the fuck?
Of all of them, she was the most innocent character.
Yeah, and she got royally fucked in this whole movie sequence.
Again, it's just the fact that this film is just ripping on the first Hellraiser because Larry in the original Hellraiser was the innocent, everyday, good-hearted, wholesome family man who ends up getting taken to hell.
Yeah, but that's the thing. For like 9 movies, we questioned for 8 movies, we questioned if Larry went to hell. I don't believe he ever did. I didn't think it was ever fair.
I didn't think he ever did either.
Okay, we had that deleted scene that was where they talked about it, but it was deleted to keep it out of the story. We had the stuff from Hellraiser 2, and we find out that it's Frank. It's not Larry. Like I said, I've always justified it by saying that the innocent people would never be taken by the Cenobites unless there was a reason. This is the reason for it. You killed our person, so we're taking the debt, and they take the mum, and the film ends. The dad finally dies.
Well, it doesn't just end there because, as we've seen, we are establishing this sister character Emma who has developed incestual feelings for her brother, who turned out to be her boyfriend, who was Frank Jr., essentially, which has essentially sparked off this twisted desire within her to perhaps explore this other dimension. And as we've already seen, she has the desire to want to open the box. And just to end the film, she reaches for the box and looks at the camera and says, "Sequel bait."
Yeah. I partially got a hint that she was kind of really upset that, her brother was in hell, her mum was in hell, her dad was dead, her brother was her boyfriend was a complete dick. She'd been used and abused by everybody, and she kind of wanted to open the doorway so maybe go get revenge. But if you're going to go with that angle, just don't. Because the Cenobites are immortal. They live in their fucking hell dimension. And unless you're going to change her into what could possibly be a female Dr. Chenard character in the sequel, so that she does kill the Cenobites and destroy the hell world, then that could be cool. But I've just called it, so you owe me the money.
Favorite scenes in Hellraiser Revelations? None.
Really? Wow. I've got a couple. They're not great. The first one is the sequence with the Vagrant. I like the fact that the Vagrant got a bit more screen time. You know, he partially turned up 1, 2, 3, you know, disappeared for a while, and then he comes back and he not only has quite a bit of a good kind of script in the bar, selling the box to the boys. You know, I like that whole aspect of character. But at the same time, he does get a killing as well, which I think is cool. And the fact that, you know, you tell us now, look, they're immortal. You know, they could have been human and dying, and there's just another one turns up, or they could be immortal. My next favorite scene is the whole fucking ending, because it was awesome. You know, you really fucked that woman over, like, massively. If there was any twist, it's that she gets massively fucked.
It's still just flesh, and no flesh shall be spared.
It was kudos. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, partially the Cenobite stuff. Like I said, it looks nice. The Pinhead, I feel that if Doug Bradley had reprised his role as Pinhead, if he hadn't had taken a massive, huge fucking paycheck just for the sake of it, they would have been able to use the money in the special effects and built the set around him, allowed him to use it to boost what already he has established as a fucking landmark character. Having this guy, you know, it says to me, look, it doesn't matter who wears the suit as long as the suit is worn. And I'm like, no, it doesn't always work like that.
Absolutely, it doesn't. Doug Bradley looked at the script and he said, this is a first draft. Redraft it. Oh no, we start shooting tomorrow. It's like, no thank you. Oh, well, what's the payment like? Our budget for the film is $300,000, so fuck Hellraiser Revelations, and fuck whatever Miramax and Dimension release with the Hellraiser name on it, because we know it is Hellraiser in name only. It is the poorest of poor imitations to anything that I've ever seen in reboots, remakes, and sequels. The dreck of cinema, the absolute epitome of awful for direct-to-DVD, because this film has no original creative spark in it whatsoever. It's a rehash of everything that you've seen in the greater Hellraiser movies. So fuck you, Hellraiser Revelations.
Oh, you suffer beautifully.
Like Gary said, this is a rehash, remake, sequel, prequel, whatever you want to add it into the chronological line of the Hellraiser movies. But I feel that it is its own complete separate entity from the 8 Doug Bradley movies. It has a new guy playing Pinhead. So if you've never seen Doug Bradley before in his costume, then go and watch this, because, well, you know, you can watch these other 8. 4 of them are fucking horrible. 3 of them are really good, and then there's one that kind of sits in. Looking back on these movies, now that we've completed the series, I have the same feeling as I did with the Halloween series. Hellraiser 1 and 2 for me stands up there on a fucking golden pedestal, just like Halloween 1 and 2, because maybe I'm a sucker for those straight after movies. You know, they happen like an hour soon after the first one. You know, the exploration of the extra characters, the exploration of the story. Hellraiser 3 gets a bit 90s cliche horror, but I can like that because it's a bit nostalgic for me, you know, being the age I am. 5, 6, 7, 8, you are just short stories that are in a magazine somewhere about hey, look, it's got Hellraiser, you know, on it. It might have Pinhead in it at some point, or too much, or not at all, or all over the place. I don't know, you know. And then the very last one is Bloodlines, where it just fucking ends the series. And then, hey, look, Revelations. It's got a really funny ending. It's the rest of it drags on like the sinking of the Titanic. You're just waiting for it to end. You just want to let go. And then Pinhead turns up and you're like, yay! Wow! He just fucked that woman over. That was awesome. I'm going to go back and watch Hellraiser 1 now.
It's still just flesh. And no flesh shall be spared.
The only box that you ever need to open is this one, that contains the first 3 movies, because if you explore further and beyond the original 3 movies, you're opening yourself up to a world of hate. Speaking of a world of hate, Hellraiser 10 is in fucking development. Fuck! 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 Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
What is your pleasure, sir?